Hi, this is JP Morgan. Today on the Slanted Lens, we're down here at MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. We're looking into what would be on the west side of downtown LA. The reason we're here is I want to get a shot of the moon as it comes up over the buildings of Los Angeles. This kind of became a quest or a journey when we were in Bryce. The moon was just rising as the sun was just setting. So we got some warmth and some color on the mountains, and the moon was coming up. It was just a happy accident, and I thought, this is amazing. We just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I'm thinking to myself, well, how can I be calculated about it to find a time when I can shoot the moon to have it be where I want it to be? So I started doing some research on how to be able to identify or to know when the moon's going to rise and when it's going to set. The funny thing about the moon is it almost looks better the day before it's full, because it's just like any light source. When the light shines straight at the moon and it's full moon, there are no craters. But as the light moves around it, the sun moves around the moon, it starts to reveal the craters as it crosses across it. So the day before or the day after are going to give you a much nicer look in craters on the moon. Welcome to Los Angeles. Look at me, look at me, look at me. So number one, you've got to be able to find the moon. Use some kind of an app to track the moon. Moonseeker has worked for me. I don't love it. It's not perfect, but I haven't found something better. I know pretty close about where it's going to be. I know roughly what time it's going to come up. I get to look at the skyline here, and I can tell that even though it says it comes up at about 6:30 or 6:40, it's not going to get above those buildings till about 7:10. Well, the sun is so much more predictable than the moon, because the sun changes by about 1 minute to 2 minutes a day from when it rises, but the moon changes by 20 or 30 minutes. It's very much more erratic. So you've got to have some kind of an app to track the moon to be able to figure out where it's going to be. If we move over there by 100 yards, where the moon's going to be on that horizon is going to change a lot. So get in the spot where you're going to shoot, see if you like where the moon is, and keep walking around till you see where it is. Moonseeker at least gives you a good idea where it's at. So that's the first thing. You've got to have something to track the moon. Number two is I'm going to use that same program, that Moonseeker, to show me the path that the moon is going to rise on, and to tell me what time it's going to be in place to be able to do my photograph. Because if it get here too late and the moon is way up in the sky, that doesn't do me any good. I'm not photographing the moon alone. I want the moon to be right on the skyline. So Moonseeker is going to tell me right exactly when it's going to be on top of the skyline. Because knowing what time it rises is different than knowing where it's going to be in the right position in your image. And then that, which is the third thing, tells me what time I want to shoot. I want to be here to 6:30, be able to set up. I want to shoot from 6:30 into 7:10 into probably 7:30 to see that moon rise above the buildings to get my shot. So I learned three things. Where's the moon? What time is it going to come up? And exactly where is it going to be in my image, because it gives me a path that's going to follow and tells me what time it's going to come up above those buildings. So I need to know all three of those things. Now, let's talk about exposure. You know, it's interesting because if you look at the moon when it's pretty much full moon, it's like looking at daylight on the moon. You're getting a direct look at the sun there. It's pretty darn bright. It is not that far off from a daylight setting, so it is not hard to get an exposure of the moon. But when it's down on the horizon, it's got to shine through all the atmosphere, and it becomes much darker. So just know, if you're taking a picture just straight of the moon, it's daytime on the moon. So I'm going to set up two cameras so I have two lens options while I'm shooting here. I'll do a 24-70 on this camera. That's going to give me a lot more of the lake. And if I put that at about 50 millimeters, that's roughly what the eye sees as far as the size of the moon. So as I'm looking at it here, that's exactly the way the eye is going to see it. On the other camera, I'm going to put a 70 to 200 millimeter lens because I want to get in much tighter and just get a little section of the buildings with a big moon. I'll experiment with that really quickly, getting in tight, a little more broad, but I've got 70 to 200 millimeters. If I've got time, I'll try throwing on the 150 to 600 millimeters, get much tighter shots of the moon, just depending on how it plays there. There's not much time. The moon is moving way faster than you would think. It will get up and out of the frame in almost 15 to 20 minutes. It's not going to last near as long as you might think. So we've got to shoot really fast. That's why I'm setting up two cameras. It's Los Angeles, the city with 1,000 smells. Although lately, about 999 of those have been weed. Use a tripod. It's crazy not to use a tripod, especially on these longer lenses. I've got two tripods up here. It's the 263 tripods by Vanguard. These are really a go-to tripod for me. Use a tripod. It's really important when you go to take your exposure that you use some kind of a triggering device. Now you can put it on a 2-second or 10-second delay. That does allow your tripod to settle, and it's going to make sure your exposure is going to be much more sharp. But the easiest thing to do is use some kind of a trigger. I've been using the MyOps trigger. It's a time-lapse device, it's a remote trigger, it does all those things. It's just really simple. I'm just going to plug that into my camera, and I'll use that on my longer lens here because that's the one that's going to bounce around a little bit, especially if I go to that 150 to 600 millimeter lens. I'm going to click on the MyOps mobile remote, click on my device number, and now I'm all set up. All I have to do is hit cable release, and I take a picture. Take a picture. Every time I hit the button, take a picture. Taking a picture. We're taking a picture. It's another picture. We're going to take another picture. If you're super concerned about camera shake, you can lock the mirror up on a DSLR, and that'll make sure the camera doesn't shake. When you're using like a 600 millimeter lens with a 2x converter on it, sometimes that's a really smart thing to do to trigger with the mirror up. Whack, 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 whack. One thing I cannot predict is clouds, and all of a sudden we got pretty heavy cloud cover here. I mean, we looked at the app, it said maybe partly cloudy. Don't let that discourage you if you get in this situation, because that moon may cut through the clouds enough to make it look really interesting. It could be spectacular. You just never know what's going to happen. The one thing though I didn't mention about is color balance. I put my camera on auto white balance because it's going to be changing as that sun goes down, as the moon comes up, it's just going to change. So I'm going to run this at auto white balance. That'll give me a range. I'll probably shoot it at aperture preferred, so I'm going to go down to f4 rather than 2.8 wide open. I'll go to f4, and I'll keep watching that shutter. If that shutter is getting too long, a lot of times in this situation, I will put my exposure compensation at -2/3. If I put my focus point on the moon, it may make my exposure a little too dark, so I may have to open it up a little bit. So -2/3 might not be right. I may have to go to just straight normal or a +2/3 to be able to get the scene to look correctly. So I'll be looking at that every image and making those changes as I shoot. I'll just shoot through it and just keep changing the settings. As I'm looking at this and I'm focusing and playing with my focus, I'm realizing that I may go to 5.6 or even f8 if I can get a shutter speed that'll work. I'll probably set my focus point on the moon and do shots of the moon, and I'll probably set the focus on the buildings, and I'll shoot some focus, the buildings in focus. That'll probably be the way I'll get the best looking image tonight. Boy, the moon was a little shy as it came up tonight. It came up right in the middle of those clouds, so we could predict a lot of things, knew exactly where it was going to come up, knew exactly what time it was going to come up, but can't predict what clouds are going to do, and so the clouds kind of laid right on it. At first it was a little uninteresting, but as it got up a little bit, it looked pretty spectacular. Julian stayed here and kept shooting on this camera. I ran around the side of the lake over there, and I started shooting from there, and I got some pretty nice images of the moon with that Westlake sign in the foreground. I'm going to have to composite those two together, there's no doubt about it. But I learned a lot of things. I mean, tomorrow night, I'm thinking that's the full moon tomorrow night, but the moon doesn't come up until 8 p.m. So it'll be coming up and the city will be this dark. We won't have the brightness in the city that we got tomorrow night. So it's unfortunate. We had one shot, tonight was it. But there's always next month. You'll have to look at a lunar calendar and find out when the moon rising and the sun setting happened at the same time. But we got some great shots of the moon, not as spectacular as we'd hoped for, but we got some fabulous shots nonetheless. So here's some of the images we got. So there you have it, how to shoot the moon. So keep those cameras rolling, keep on clicking. What would it cost to shoot a photograph on this seamless setup here? If you want to know how to estimate, get our video download. It's at theslantlens.com where you can understand the estimating process. Don't let yourself estimate without it. Get over to theslantlens.com. My chicken and I invite you to subscribe to The Slanted Lens. Join our Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram. There's a lot of great things going on at The Slanted Lens. My chicken and I will fill you in later.